Moorestown Theater Company is one of the most successful theater companies in the South Jersey area. They are still actively doing shows despite the fact that there is an ongoing pandemic. So I decided to speak with the creative director of Moorestown Theater Company, as well as some of the staff of Dear Edwina, the new production at Moorestown Theater Company.
My name is Mark Morgan, and I'm the founder and the producing artistic director of the Moorestown Theater Company.
I'm Indy Evo. I am the choreographer for Dear Edwina, and I'm super excited. It's a really good show.
I'm Abby Sani. I'm a director, stage manager, and student, and I'm the director of this lovely production of Dear Edwina.
I would say the odds are slim that we would do outdoor theater if there is no pandemic. Just the lack of being able to be sure when you can have a show is such a hindrance.
I would heavily enjoy doing outdoor theater again. I think there's something about the way that the mood changes from when you start a show and it's a little lighter out from when it's darker out.
Honestly, doing theater in a space together is such a gift at this point in time that the challenge of not touching has been something that's pretty surmountable for us, because we do get to be in a space together, we do get to be outside together performing, and not in our own individual homes having that individual experience. It's a group experience despite the fact that we can't physically touch.
The biggest challenge with doing shows outside is the weather. Whether it's going to be raining, whether it's too hot. We did a show last night and we're lucky because the forecast said chance of rain, and we rolled the dice and we got lucky.
So my favorite thing about being a choreographer, this is actually the first show I've ever choreographed. My favorite thing is seeing what I had in my head actually work. Seeing them really connect with the choreography, or just doing it when they're not even being told to do it.
Favorite thing about this particular show that I'm directing is that I feel like I get to teach people so much of what I've learned growing up in the theater. I started performing when I was 5 and working when I was 12. So I've got to learn so many wonderful things about the technical aspects of being in theater, as well as grown in terms of confidence. So I really love that I get to bring that experience to other people.
The biggest challenge directing when you're trying to be socially distant with a cast, especially if you have a large cast, it's just little things. I can't tell you how many times we would have hugged in this production of Godspell that we're not able to hug.
This challenge of choreographing and having to be socially distant is definitely for numbers where I may want them to be in a really tight formation, or want them to do like partner work. They cannot in the slightest touch each other, so that's a challenge, definitely. But they're all doing really good and just working on like selling it to each other while being socially distant, and it's my favorite thing, and I think they're learning a lot.
Challenge is that so much of theater is about community and working very closely together, whether it be emotionally or physically on a stage. I think there are a lot of very touching moments in Dear Edwina where typically we would love to have performers touch or hug or interact in that physical way, but that is a challenge a lot of times with blocking and other things, but at the moment it's worth it.
Well, so many of our kids who are asking, begging, wondering could Moorestown Theater Company do some kind of live theater during a pandemic? And it's funny, many people I know on social media, and as well as people I don't know, were kind of bashing us for even attempting to do live theater, saying it's not safe, why are you playing God? Different comments I heard like that. And we figured, well, if we're going to do it, we're going to follow the rules very strictly that the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, nationally said to do, that our governor here in New Jersey said to do, and we feel that by following these rules and keeping socially distant and wearing face masks or shields at all times when the kids are together, that we could safely do theater. And Godspell's our third show we've done live this summer, and we have Dear Edwina coming up next week, will be our fourth show. So we'll have put 4 shows on stage, either in front of a live audience with Godspell or recorded for streaming for virtual audiences, with over 100 performers in 6 weeks. So the need was there, as performers were so cooped up.
I went into this
online
expecting
learning.
all the members of the Dear Edwina staff that I had interviewed to think that performing socially distant is simply an annoyance, and that there are very little good things to say about it. But actually, since doing theater during this turbulent time is so difficult, they can look over the small things like not being able to touch if it means that they can finally have the opportunity to do theater once more.